Hey everyone, Happy Dude here. Now I have my 9070 XT for a while now, so I was able to test it in lots of games and I'm very happy with it. Now since it can do ray tracing, I wanted to see what all the fuss is about. So I tried it in a few games to see if I liked it. Because in previous videos I always told myself and others that you don't need ray tracing, it destroys the FPS and the image quality of games since you need AI upscaling to make it playable. But now I can finally try it out for myself, and the first game I picked was Dead Space because it's my favorite game and I'm very happy that they made a remake of it. So let's see what it can do. So we're playing at 4K, and for the graphic settings everything is on high, and let's see how much FPS we are getting. Okay, around 15-30 FPS. No, that's a bit low. Give it a minute to load everything in. Yeah, we are getting a solid 60 FPS, sometimes even 70. And also look around the environment, the sharpness, the light effects, everything looks very nice in this game. The graphics are amazing. Also the performance is very solid. No hitches or glitches or micro stutters. And I'm not using any frame gen or upscaling. So that's a very solid performance for the 9070 XT. Alright, now there is a setting in this game with ray tracing. If you go to the bottom, you will see ambient occlusion. There it is. Now it's SSAO, but if you press to the right, it is RTAO. So that's ray tracing. That's the only setting in this game to activate some of the ray tracing, but I don't see any difference in this game. And you will see too, apart from the FPS dropping significantly. Yeah, 12 FPS, that's not great, isn't it? But it will rise a bit. Yeah, now it's 60 FPS. Yeah, so it's about the same, it's a bit lower, but there isn't any difference in the graphic settings. So let's go back to this room here. So all the effects on the floor and in the glass, all the reflections are just the same. And the game is way less smooth. I do have more micro stutters, and if enemies spawn in or some effects or something is happening, I get a lot more stutters. So now watch the little sparks from the ceiling to the floor, and if we turn ray tracing back off now, you will see that the FPS goes a little bit higher. The game feels a lot smoother and faster in responsiveness, and you will also see that the graphics are exactly the same. All the reflections and the effects are just the same. So yeah, in this game the ray tracing isn't really a big difference, so it's not worth the performance drop. Alright, time for the next game, Until Dawn. That's also a game I really like, and it's also a remake. Okay, let me show you the settings for the game. So it's in 4K, the quality is on high, for everything except for the advanced. That's for the movie effects like motion blur, film grain. That's always off. I hate all that shit. Ray tracing is off right now, so let's see what the performance is. Okay, looks like we get about 60 FPS. And also take a look at the light effects for when we turn ray tracing on. Now I do have to say that this game has a lot of problems with FPS spikes and drops because it's a very bad PS5 port and also not very well optimized. And it's even worse when we turn ray tracing on. So let's do that. Okay, let's save the settings. Yes. And now take a look at the FPS. Bam! 30 FPS. But everything has to load in. So it rises up to 40. But it's very laggy. A lot of micro stutters. And look at the light effects. It's exactly the same. And you don't have a lot of surfaces with reflections like glass or water. That's not present in the game, so there's really no point to activate ray tracing in this game. It looks exactly the same, but the performance takes a huge hit in this game. Now, if for some reason you do want to turn ray tracing on, you will have to use FSR3, upscaling, and also FrameGen to make it playable. And then you will get over 100 FPS, as you can see. And weirdly enough, the game plays even better. So the lag is gone, the micro stutters are gone, and the image quality is exactly the same. I can't see any difference. So I can really recommend turning that on in this game and just leave ray tracing off. Then you will get even more FPS and an even smoother gaming experience. Oh, and that's right, I'm on Windows 10 and my 9070 XT, and games have the latest updates. Otherwise, you can miss some of the options I have, or they don't work as well, or the performance is a lot less than mine. Now, let's try Control. This is one of the first games that really had a lot of ray tracing effects in it. Now, for some reason, OBS does not want to capture the FPS data that I have. Yeah, I've tried it 2 times and it doesn't work, and it's also zoomed in, as you can see. Anyway, it's in native 4K, no upscaling, no FrameGen, and ray tracing is off, and all the graphics settings are on high. And you can go up to Ultra and even Max, but that's a bit too much for this card. So we are getting about 60 FPS, so it's very playable with this card. I even played the game again because it was such a long time ago, and I've forgotten how fun this game was. The story is so intriguing, and the gameplay is also fun. If you compare it to Alan Wake, that has an amazing story that is tied to this game, but the gameplay isn't fun. So I'm looking forward for the new Control game. Now, I want you guys to focus on the little puddle there. We have some blurry reflection, but from certain angles it just disappears. Now, watch what happens if we turn ray tracing on. I'm going to put it on high, then everything is activated because there's a lot of ray tracing settings in this game. Now, look at that. A perfect clear image, just like in real life. And on the floor, it gets more blurry. So the puddle is sharp and you can see it from every angle. That's just amazing. For such an old game, it's even older than the previous games, and the ray tracing is far more impressive. But that's not everything. You also have it on glass, and there's a lot of glass in this game. So you can see all the reflection in the background, but also yourself, your character. Because if we turn everything off, then everything disappears. The background, your own reflection, it's all gone. And in native 4K, you get about 40 FPS, so still playable. Let me turn it back on so you can see the difference. Look at that. That's just night and day. And I have to say, I feel way more immersed. Even the glass on these posters and paintings and the floor, everything has a reflection. So I really enjoyed replaying this game now that I can utilize all the ray tracing effects. And if you want more FPS, you just put it on 1440p and then you get about 80 FPS. So if you combine that with VSync, then you have a very solid 60 FPS without any micro stutters, even with all the ray tracing on high with this card. So yeah, that's a big improvement compared to the other games, even though this is a way older game. It's from 2019. It was one of the first games with all the ray tracing effects. You know what's another fun game? Guardians of the Galaxy. Very underrated. I've really enjoyed it. So you can see I have been busy these few weeks. The resolution is in 4K. No upscaling or something like that. Everything is on high except for motion blur, lens flare, that's all off. Film grain, I hate that. So let's run a benchmark. And as you can see, we are getting between 80 and 90 FPS. So not bad at all. In native 4K without any upscaling or frame generation. And the game does look beautiful. The gameplay and the story is also very fun to play. I can really recommend this. So yeah, I've been enjoying a lot of games lately with my new graphics card. Also, take a look at all the reflections in the glass and all the water puddles on the floor. And now we are going to run the same benchmark, but this time with ray tracing on. Now we do get a bit of a performance hit, as you can see, but it's still around 60 FPS, so very playable. But we do get more micro stutters, so if you're sensitive to that, just turn it off. We do get more accurate reflections and light scattering, but it's not very obvious in this benchmark. But in certain sections of the game, you get all the reflections of the lightning around you in metal floors or on the glass of your cockpit inside your spaceship. So it does add to the immersion. I really liked playing this game with ray tracing on. But if the micro stutters get too bad or you get too much lag, just turn it off. It's not that you're gonna lose all the reflections. In fact, let me show you. Here's the side-by-side comparison. On the left is ray tracing off, and on the right it's ray tracing on. So you can't really see a lot of difference in the benchmark. There is some difference in the game itself, but it's not a huge difference like you saw in the game Control. You see, in some games the reflections are so good that you don't really need ray tracing, because as soon as you turn it on, you get a huge performance hit. Like in this game, Callisto Protocol, you have the option to turn reflections on or off, or use ray tracing. So right now, it's just with the normal reflections. And the graphics in this game are truly amazing. So I'm very curious to see a side-by-side comparison later on. I didn't really enjoy playing this game. The story is meh, and the gameplay, it's not that special. But it does look amazing, so it was a great test for my 9070 XT. So that's the average frame. Okay, now let's turn all the options of ray tracing on. If you do that, it will disable the normal reflections and shadows. So that happens automatically. Okay, let's see what this does. Yeah, the FPS did take a hit now, but I'm going to focus on the reflections in all the water puddles and the glass that you see. The lightning effects and the shadows, it looks all the same to me. Maybe the reflections look a bit more accurate. The thing is that the reflections in the base settings are so good that you can't really see a difference. Okay, now I'm very curious to see a comparison between the two. On the left is normal reflections, and on the right is with ray tracing. Okay. Can't really see a difference right now, but there will come a puddle right now. Okay, let me pause it right here. You can clearly see a difference on the right side with ray tracing on. The reflection is sharper and way more accurate, but that's only in that puddle. In all the other puddles or glass, the reflection is almost as good as the ray tracing, so it's not really worth the performance hit that you get, and you also get a lot more stutters when you turn ray tracing on with this game. Okay guys, there's one more game I want to show you, and that is Spider-Man 2. And just like all the rest, it's also in native 4K, so no upscaling, no frame gen for now. And the graphics are all on high, except for motion blur, film grain bloom, depth of field. It just makes the graphics look worse, so I don't get it why people are using that. Yeah, so everything on high, and then we get, look at that, above 90 FPS. So this is how the PlayStation 5 looks, but that uses upscaling, so it's not really native 4K, but this is, and we are getting over 90 FPS, so it's sharper and we get more performance than on the PlayStation 5. But now look at this. If we turn ray tracing on, I'm also going to put it on high. This game looks incredible. I just can't believe it. It looks so good that I want to replay it. But it takes a while to render, so I'm going to skip that. And here it is. Look at the difference. Look in the glass, you can see the building on the other side. And look at the distance. all the trees, the buildings, you can all see it in the reflections of the glass. That looks incredible. It's such a big difference. And now it's just like in real life, or the movies anyway. That really adds to the immersion. Let me swing a bit closer so you can see it. Look at that. You can see everything what's behind you. Wow, that's just amazing. I don't think you have that on the PlayStation 5. I don't know about the PlayStation 5 Pro because I don't have one. If someone has that, please put it in the comments below. I really want to know. Maybe I should do a comparison. I also have the game on my base PS5, so I'm going to check that later on. I really want to know. If you still believe there's no difference, let me turn ray tracing off. In real life, that doesn't have to load, so you can see the difference immediately. And look at that. All the reflections are gone. It's the same building. So let me give you a look around. It's in the same spot. Look at the distance. All the reflections, they are all gone. So yeah, that's a very, very big difference. Now the game does look gorgeous, but as you can see, the frame rate has dropped a bit. That's because more ray tracing is loading in, so it gets heavier and heavier. I've tried frame generation and upscaling. Even if you turn it to ultra performance, the FPS is still way too choppy, way too low. And this is a fast-paced game, so that's not really that impressive. Even though it looks amazing, it doesn't play very well. So this is one of those games that is just very hard to run because it's not in a building, it's a whole city that is ray traced. So the only option is to turn upscaling off because it looks terrible. You can see all the edges around Spider-Man and the buildings, so it looks terrible. So this game has to be in native 1440p. So this looks a lot better than upscaling. And look at the FPS, it's between 60 and 70, sometimes above, depending on where you are. So that's very playable. And everything is turned on with ray tracing. It's all on high, every option. So yeah, this is going to be a blast to play again. I can't wait. So guys, let me know what you think about the video. Don't forget to like, and if you have any questions or suggestions for certain games, please let me know in the comments below. And you all have a nice day now. Bye!